afternoon to you all. 1 minute, somebody else. Okay. Today is, hope you know that today is International Day of Women and Girls in Science, and tomorrow the World Productivity Day. So combining these two important days, we, the NSS Bureau of Sri Padmavati Mahila Vishwavidyalayam, in association with the Department of Women Studies and the Department of Business Management, took this initiative to have an interaction with the successful and outstanding women entrepreneurs. So here I should thank Mrs. Himabindu, Managing Director of Novel Patent Services, and also Mrs. Samantha Reddy, who is going to join with us very soon. And she is a designated partner, Quad Craft LLP, and Director of Ravilila Granites Private Limited, for sparing their time and being with us. So on behalf of Sri Padmavati Mahila Vishwavidyalayam, I extend a very, very warm welcome to both of you, madam. And I wholeheartedly welcome heads of both the departments, Professor Kachani madam, who is coordinator of NSS Bureau of Sri Padmavati Mahila Vishwavidyalayam, and also the head of Department of Business Management, and Professor Sandhya Rani madam, head of Department of Women Studies and Center for Women Studies. And I extend a very, very warm welcome to all the program officers of NSS Bureau, staff, and students. So I extend a very, very warm welcome to you all once again. And with these few words, I hand over this session to Professor Kachani madam to conduct the further proceedings. Thank you so much.
Yeah, good afternoon, Neerja, and on my own behalf, and then on the behalf of University Sri Padmavati Mahila Vishwavidyalayam, I once again welcome the guests Himabindu Garu and Samantha Reddy Garu, who is going to join very soon. And also I welcome Ms. Aruna from CII, so Confederation of Indian Industries. And I have to thank Josna Garu from CII AP chapter for making us to network with Himabindu Garu. And I welcome Sandhya madam. So Sandhya madam is the head of the Department of Women Studies and senior professor in the university. And we were the colleagues for conducting NSS programs and all. So you know that today is the auspicious day, today and tomorrow. And on behalf of these 2 days, we are conducting this webinar. And we would like to give an experience to our students who are joining here, how the entrepreneurs are successful in producing very efficient products, and also how the quality consciousness that they're having, because tomorrow is a National Productivity Day. So NPC, National Productivity Council, was established in 1958 in India, and the office is located at New Delhi. It will operate under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. So actually, Ministry of Commerce and Industry and NPC Council, they have announced from tomorrow onwards, also February 12th to 18th as a week, National Productivity Week throughout the country of India. So here we are talking about the promoting productivity and quality consciousness throughout the India in all sectors. So not only the manufacturing, even for service sectors, and even in education sector, how the productivity and quality consciousness can be increased so that the economy will be increasing for the country. So this year, the theme that they're concentrating, the NPC is concentrating, is Industry 4.0, Leap for Opportunity for India. So we know that the Industry 4.0 technologies like augmented reality, virtual reality, artificial intelligence, and IoT, industrial IoT, and automation and cyber security, all these technologies are playing a vital role in automating all the process of industry, and then making quality consciousness, and also producing good products, so which are useful for our society in India. So that's why to make this Make in India policy successful, so Industry 4.0 technologies will be used now by various people in the industry. And entrepreneurs also now having a consciousness about how to protect our intellectual properties, and also how we can make our processes, production processes and marketing processes very efficient and compete with other countries. So, and then so that economy of our country will be increased. So with this main theme, we would like to have, and then what is the woman role in increasing this productivity and quality consciousness? We know that women are having a multifaceted talents, and also they are having multiple roles to play. So in that, what the women, how the women are successful in all these multiple roles, and how they are partnering themselves to increase the GDP or economy, or in how they are participating in increasing the national productivity and quality consciousness. So that is the now the topic that we want to focus it, and then we want to create an awareness. So with this goal, now we are starting the program. Now I request Dr. Neeraja to introduce our today's speaker, Himabindu Garu, to the audience, and I request Himabindu Garu to deliver.
I think before that, Professor Sandhya Madam will say a few words about.
Okay. So I welcome Sandhya Madam to talk a few words on women entrepreneurship and role of women.
Thank you, Katyayani Garu.
Yes.
Good afternoon to Professor J. Katyayani, Coordinator, NSS Bureau Office PMBB, and Head Department of Business Management, and today's distinguished resource persons, Mrs. A. Himabindu, Managing Director, Naval Patent Services, and Mrs. Samantha Reddy, President, Ravilila Granites Limited, and all the NSS program officers and my dear student friends. I deem it a great pleasure to speak on this occasion, that is National Productivity Day, on the topic Women Entrepreneurship, a game changer for country's economy. Women entrepreneurs are the need of the hour in the entrepreneurial world to ensure an innovative and advanced economy. Even after 75 years of independence of India, it is still in developing stage. Poverty and unemployment are on rise with increase in population. Agriculture, though it is a primary occupation, it is inelastic in nature. We cannot extend land as per our requirements. The only alternatives are industrial and tertiary sectors. Sky is the only limit in industrial or entrepreneurial setup. Encouraging women to become entrepreneurs denotes an important engine of socio-economic growth, as it has a leading role in generating prolific work, achieving gender equality, and reducing poverty. India will soon have one of the largest working age population, and this demography will act as a dividend only if the human resources become equal partners of development process. Women entrepreneurs remain a vibrant component that not only will boost the economy, but also render transformational social and personal development. Women in entrepreneurial sector are underrepresented. According to World Bank, Google and Bain Company reports, 20% of all enterprises of the country are owned by women. Though this makes only 7% growth in the last decade, in reality, quite a few of these women-owned businesses are governed by men. Despite enjoying a better position in education and healthcare, women remain to suffer economic, social, and familial barriers. In this scenario, entrepreneurship can bring a change and unlock the growth potential, as it will serve a cyclic purpose of bringing independence, autonomy, and well-being for women. As per the reports published in GEM, that is the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor, India exhibits the growth trajectory, evaluating the women entrepreneurial status across India. This total entrepreneurial activity is 14, and it has come to 12.7% in 2019 and 20. However, there is an upsurge in fear of failure among women. But with the available opportunities, programs, and avenues, women in India are coming forward to overcome the fear of failure and availing the opportunities to become entrepreneurs. But they need guided motivation and structured training to take up entrepreneurship in this challenging world. To motivate women to become a game changer, supportive environment should be created to tap the trends in the market, to embrace the changing technologies, undergoing training with the targeted monitorship models, access to finances, etc., are the need of the hour. So with this, I conclude my brief report on this day. And also, I thank all the organizers for giving me this opportunity. And now the session is over to Neeraja.
Thank you, madam. Now it's time to introduce the first speaker of today's webinar, Mrs. Himabindu Garu. I'm very much delighted to introduce Mrs. Himabindu, who is co-founder and the managing director of Novel Patent Services, which is a global research and analytical firm providing customized patent research, trademark and copyright services. And Hima is the university topper. She is a registered Indian patent agent and also a registered technology professional. And she has won many awards. So just to mention one, she was awarded with the Exceptional Women of Excellence by the Women Economic Forum, Netherlands. And she is an eminent speaker. Her contributions for IPR building across the nation is worth mentioning here. And she is a client. Her clients range from independent investors, startups and emerging companies to large multinational companies. So which shows her potential, particularly in the area of consumer products and aviation. And madam is also a member of a steering committee of NRDC, that is National Research and Development, and also the guest faculty in the panel of Development Commissioner, Ministry of Micro, Small, Medium and Enterprise, MSMEs. So with this very, very brief introduction, I extend once again a very, very warm welcome to you, Hima madam. And now the session is to you. We are eager to hear from you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nirja ma'am, for these wonderful words. I also thank Madam Katyayani and Sandhya madam, and also my friends, Josna and Aruna Garu, for this wonderful opportunity to interact with multiple women. I don't know if men are there, but this is today, as you all were saying, it's auspicious Women in Science or the World Production Day. I'll just mention you one thing over here. IPR, intellectual property rights, actually, the department which governs it also happens to be the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. So IPRs do come under or are managed by that department. Another. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Yes, we are hearing.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll just feel, I just wanted you all to feel free, just pounce upon on any questions, and nothing much I'm going to discuss about. But this is a small firm that that I and also one of my partners, like we both have started this. And it's a firm where all our engineers working with us. And I'll just take you through with this small presentation of mine. Just a second. I'm just trying to share my screen. Yeah. Are you all able to see my screen?
Yes, ma'am, we can see.
Thank you. When I just have gone through the topic women entrepreneurship, I'll just try to tell about what our firm does. IP is one of those alternative career options which is available right now, booming right now, I would call it as. And we are happy to be one of those exclusive IP services firm. And we work with different kinds of people. We work with corporates where research goes on, and we help them file their patents, do their business. And when you were saying that something women entrepreneurship adds to the global economy, I would relate that patents are one of those business assets which actually drive or help drive the economy in today's world. We also work with universities because universities happen to be research hubs. So we work there, we work with them, we work with research units, global and India as well, domestic firms as well. We work with legal firms, we work with independent inventors, and of course, our sweetest spot is the startups with whom we work. We have helped n number of startups across the world in forming their business, establishing their business, growing their business also. And I would just take you through few of them right now. And I also have started a novel IPR academy, which propagates IP education. And also there is a collaborative platform where we cater, it is a technology transfer. You invent something and we sell that invention on behalf of you. So you invent something and you sit getting a royalty on one of those products which is actually sold or marketed by somebody else. So it is only invention that you got to invest your time on, and you sit reaping benefits. And this is what this platform enables them to do. And So talking about entrepreneurship, we have several factors, but what do you think is critical among this? I would ask, please feel free, unmute your mics so that it would become an interactive session, not me going continuously talking. I know everybody has got their own good side of themselves, which needs to be learned by many of others. So just unmute yourself and let me know what do you think. So what's critical? Are you able to see my slides changing?
No, madam, not changing. We are in first slide only. Yes,
Oh, okay.
now it's getting changed.
Okay. So is this visible, ma'am?
Yes, entrepreneurship. You can see that entrepreneurship. Yeah. Yes.
So what's critical in entrepreneurship? What do you think is a critical phenomena to start your enterprise? And I didn't add here, but do you also think gender plays a major role in entrepreneurship? What's your view? What's critical? Anybody, please unmute your mics and talk. Whatever you want, you can talk. No marks given, no judgments done. Anything.
Nisha, there are so many people waiting in the lounge. Tell them to join through YouTube.
It's there in chat box, ma'am. Repeatedly, I'm posting the YouTube link also.
They can't open it,
They,
I think.
No, they can't hear it.
Please use your chat box also in just answering this. What do you think is very critical to start an enterprise of their own? Being a woman, being a lady, or any of these factors that you think? Anybody, please. You also can type in the chat box.
Yes, students, respond.
Please type in chat box whatever you feel good, whatever you feel that stops you. If at all you have an idea to start a business on of your own, what is limiting you, what is stopping you from doing it? So because ultimately, most of them do not want to work for somebody or work under somebody, right? You all are youngsters who have very good thoughts. Wonderful. So one answer says it's funds or capital. Anybody else, what limits you from starting your own business or implementing your own idea?
My perception, team, ma'am.
Team. Wonderful.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
one says team, one says capital.
So
And
I would like
what
to
is
add one
Yeah.
more point here. I'm an entrepreneur, and
Wonderful.
possibly this could be one of the major factors which I'm facing is the work from home factor, which is there now. And we don't know who is working, who's not working. We very sincerely put in our thoughts, ideas, try our level best to execute, but it does not get executed from there. And how do we make sure that this comes? No, that is, it plays also a role of here a team, being also a gender biased here. When a woman gives instruction, they do not probably take it quite seriously. So
Absolutely.
the factor of having the right people, the right team, and they working for a single company as well. Most of them work from home, think that you can take 15,000 from this company and another company 15,000, make 30,000. They at last don't give anywhere any productivity, and then they blame the company, which is a wrong notion given about the company. And then we as a company are not able to give our best to the clients. We get both the hits from the clients, from employees,
Absolutely.
everywhere. This
So true.
demotivates us as entrepreneurs as well.
So true. Tapasya, if I'm not wrong, this is one of the problems that is being faced post Corona, and it persists
Yes,
until people work from home.
yes,
Absolutely.
yes, ma'am.
But as in the introductions, we were told for productivity. There is always an interdependency of technology,
Yes,
where
yes,
part of it, but again, when we use the technology, it's again the limiting factor would be our funds, or the
yes,
budget allocation, because
yes,
there are methodologies which we would be implementing on their laptops that we actually give
yes,
to the people who work with us.
yes. I
But
would all, yes, yes, ma'am.
forcing and all kept on one side, the
Hmm.
trust and loyalty or the ethics which needs to be imparted to an individual,
Yes, yes,
that needs to be harnessed.
yes,
What they get, what they lose, or what is it that they have to give in back, still
yes.
stays in question for most of us right now in today's world.
Yes, and I feel the employees also need to understand that this factor and this fact that we are not here to track them or understand their personal choices or anything of that sort. We are here to work. We don't want to implement anything. We trust them, but you give us the results, and that would
Absolutely.
help us move a little better. We are doing this business from last 13 years, and we have started facing this. And we are having a company which is a media enterprise, which is into B2B firms, which helps entrepreneurship.
Well,
And we are with the industry, with the MSMEs, and we have come to this with from several companies that they come to us and talk about this particular aspect which happens, which is interconnected with team, with funds, with the idea execution by the employees or the team, the funds which we have, the gender bias which women entrepreneur mostly faces, and the
absolutely.
multitasking women entrepreneurs need to have.
Yeah.
Whether it's a women employee or an entrepreneur, they are supposed to do everything at home, which their family thinks that they need to do, and then they work outside as well. And
Absolutely.
entrepreneurs need to give double their time, which probably sometimes family or others don't consider that as a very important part
Yeah,
of.
this happens to be one of my points, Tapasya. I would be covering this because as students,
Wonderful, ma'am. Thank you.
when they actually start thinking in these lines, since it's the topic itself is this. So first, let us start building with what actually needs. Or what the barriers are there for them, so that then they will go to ethics part, or the importance of, especially in gender biasing, as Tapasya says, she's true, because most of my employees now, we have round about 75 plus team working with us. But I mostly nowadays, it's a change in situation where even women employees shift jobs, and that's the reason why transition happens. But when you take the scenario of 5 years back or so, there are scenarios where women employees used to simply leave the work because they got married. But nowadays, this change in scenario I could witness to some extent.
but it still needs to improve. But having said that, somebody asked what's entrepreneurship. The activity of setting up our own business, to do something of our own, where it includes risk. It could include financial risk. For some, it could include some other risks, depending on what minds to you actually, with the hope of getting a profit, with the hope of getting a feeling that I did something on my own, actually is termed to be entrepreneurship. So to start a business of your own, what would be the limitations is what we are discussing. And few of them said funds, and few of them said capital or funds, and so on. But I would say it is rather than funds or so. I would did my slide change? Did it change?
Yeah, yes, Himabindu Garu. I request if you could make it full screen.
Yeah,
We
sure.
are able to see stereotypic thought process.
Thought process. Yeah, the stereotypic thought process, if you ask me, that is what differentiates us. The kind of a broad angle, as Tapasya rightly said, when talking about gender, we are unable to create a type of confidence within our own family members. It's like this: a child says, "Ma, I'm going out." You say, "See you, take care, bye," and so on. But you talk about, I'm not criticizing this, but it is our, when a girl leaves, or out, where, with who, why should you work, whom should you, just bring up, or what is the responsibility that you have, or what is the need that you have to work from now. All these sort of questions arise when a girl says that it is a work that she should give her importance on. So I think this stereotypic thought processes, the myths that we have, are to that is what actually we have to come out of. I have this wonderful example that I have come across, regarding this brain stereotyping. This is a man who actually was said or talked of, on a media platform that I have just gone through, where he is a man who is found in valleys also. And he was told that, he doesn't sleep at a single place, and he just keeps on shifting the places in valleys. He has several arms and ammunitions across with him, who kills many people, and so on. So whenever I say this to you, and he is a by religion, he also prays, he's worthy of his religion, and so on. So whenever I say this to you, what strikes your mind? Which sort of a person do you think he is? Mostly, many of us think the other side of the notion, right? But let me tell you, he is one of those uh, soldiers, who have served the forces, armed forces, and since his three generations in his family had been serving the armed forces, that was what I have heard about him. He's such a great person, but when introductions or the perspectives with which we take the introductions matter a lot, whereby we form that impressions. When we are raised as women, very fragile, very sensitively, we actually come up learning many things. Don't laugh, or don't go here and there, or you're not supposed to work, or you're not supposed to express your, there are many restrictions that come up as a package after we grow up. So, restrictions and rituals on one side we have to respect, but coming out of it, when you start an entrepreneurship of your own, just have your own set of roles or rules. Because as one of the other things that Tapasya did mention, nobody listens to women as a leader. That's partly true. Even I face it a lot. We as a services firm, I interact with my clients, which is an MNC on one hand. I interact with domestic clients as well. When I talk, not most of them feel very comfortable in talking or listening to a woman as such. That's true. when the matter of money comes into picture, or a matter of negotiation comes, there is a slight tendency of overpowering, or the thought of overpowering us. But I would say sometimes, being a woman, this had been my strength, where I could win my negotiations. And sometimes, being a woman, I thought I must prepare myself, be more challenging and be more strong, so that the other party doesn't take me in. So it's your perspective of how you combat this battle. So this is what I have learned. And coming back to our what's critical thing, so when people say age, we have many of those who have challenged the age. The Oyo rooms, it was just started by a small 18-year-old guy called Ritesh Agarwal. And when you say a 16-year-old Farhad Asadwala, he started off becoming a CEO of Rock, one of those media companies, which he sold it for a very good amount. And you talk about these two youngsters; these are just school-going techie brothers who actually have started or developed many more apps. And usually, this it's the app store that have built, which receives number of downloads, which is top in India. All these are examples in India, right? And there are many other people who have come up. Who's this lady? And what's her age? Actually, this lady, we think that being a lady or getting married or having more responsibilities would actually curb our abilities. But let me tell you, and this man who's standing here is Warren Buffett, and this lady, she is Rose, and this lady is a non-English speaking lady who have come to US after marriage. And after coming there, she started a simple cloth unit whereby she used to sell the used clothes in that store. And you know how much investment that she had? It was only $500. That's it. No other investment. And thus, actually, her store was called as Mrs. B. And thus, she actually started one of the used furniture like selling mart, which was called as Nebraska Furniture Mart. And slowly, and the age at which she started, she was in her mid 40s when she started this mart. She sold it to Warren Buffett for a 16 million USD in 1983. After this, she didn't, after just retiring or coming out of that firm, she started another competitive firm in the same lane of this, calling Mrs. B's, store, and it again came into profits in within a span of 3 years. So she was able to churn the money on its own. So that's the skill she had. And when she retired, in at an age of a very young age of 104 years, she actually came out of work. So no age, no funds could stop her, or nothing. And I would just recall, everybody might have seen the white colored ink that we use to rub away our mistakes, right? Whenever the white ink that we use. And there is a lady who actually invented this in her kitchen to wipe off the mistakes that she did while typewriting. She was an employee who used to type the words, and every time there used to be mistakes in her a form that she actually made. So in order to come out of those mistakes, she used this white ink. And later on, she used to give them to all her colleagues and all. And one fine day, Gillette Corporation purchased the IP. They didn't purchase anything. It was only the intellectual property, the know-how technology that was taken from her. And that was for some $1 million that they paid her in order to take the technology. So there are many businesses around us that are going through that we do not know, which involved IP. So somebody else develops an idea. And IKEA, there was a lady who actually developed the shelf in shelf models, and she actually gave them to IKEA. She sold them to IKEA. It's called as licensing whenever we license the technology. So IP also helps you in in getting, for instance, the can opener, the bottle tins that we open from what do I say, the can opener that we usually have. That's also one of the area where on each can that Coke sold, the inventor used to get a royalty on that. So it depends on how you devise your model, how good you devise it, or how efficiently you pave or you carve your way out. And this guy, he's a guy who actually owns one of those cars companies. He didn't have any own car to do the business. He just used to rent out those cars and start enterprise. So enterprise, for those who do not know, it's like a car. What do I call? Now we have Olas and things like that in India, right? So in abroad, there is this enterprise where people can take cars from one of the stores on rents, use them and drop it. Say, for example, now I got to go from here to airport and I have to drive on my own without getting a cab. Then I can just take that car from enterprise in my locality. I can drive it to airport where enterprise will have a place over there where I can park the vehicle and give it to them. So it's only a car rental where I can drive and park the vehicle or give the vehicle at multiple station centers that this has. And he was actually a school dropout with nothing, but he used to work with some of the car company, and then he started with a 50% pay cut. He asked his owner to become a partner and invest in his business. Thus he started out with 7 cars, and today more than 2 million cards is what this enterprise has. So with zero investment, people can and have started and built a very good empires, which we all can see right now. So with this, and one more thing, haven't said about this lady, it's really an injustice. So I would definitely talk about this wonderful lady, Kiran Majumdarsha, right? The owner of Biocon. She is a icon, Indian icon, who actually raised the bars for all women entrepreneurs. I would like to, tell upon the if and buts that she had while her journey, while she was in her journey. She is a lady who did a course which was not a cup of tea for most of the ladies. No lady was seen there in brewery market. So she did a course in that. She couldn't find a job. And finally, when Biocon Biochemicals wanted to start a company here, then she became one of those partners. And though they started the business, India was not ready for that in those times because of poor infrastructure, and power was not constant to maintain the temperatures of the products, and they didn't have enough manpower or trained people to work on that particular idea of hers. They used to import research equipment. They got to have advanced research skills and all, but yet she managed. She came out of all these ifs and buts, and today Biocon happens to be one of the jewel in the Indian economy. So entrepreneurship, as I told you, would have many elements, and people say on that there are n number of essential elements. Some people say that ideas are to be very new, or very good ideas to be successful. Not a normal used idea could be turned out into a business. Then for this I would say, who would please tell me, is idea that important in starting a business? Should people start with a very fresh new ideas that didn't or were never seen before? Or how do idea play a role in starting a business? If you want to start a business, should your product be very 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 niche, or a very fine product, or a very new product? Just type yes or no. Should it be new? Should your idea be fresh? Anybody, please answer. Yeah. Yeah. Then I would just ask this example. How many of you do buy online using Flipkart? Did anyone buy using Flipkart? Any products? Yes, we do, right? Most of them present over here. At least one might have tried, taking or purchasing products online using Flipkart. Yes. Wonderful. So just tell me, when Amazon was already there available, how did Flipkart come in? Because Flipkart is not altogether a new idea, because Indians, we knew that already Amazon was there in the market, offering a very good solution to the online marketing platform, right? Then why was Flipkart a big hit? Flipkart also was a big hit, right? Now, let me explain this to you. For those who don't know this, Amazon actually had one-click patent. At those times, long back in 1990s, 99 or so, when Amazon came up, online marketing was there. The process of returning back the goods that people didn't like was a usual practice that was followed in the Western countries. So, what made Amazon, it filed a patent called one-click patent. And I'll tell you what's the purpose of this. In those good olden times when connectivity was not up to the mark, net was not long standing, it was not used by many as we use it today. The main problems for online shopping was people have to adhere on their net, check their connectivity, select, to click on a product, to select that product, to select from those and then after that they got to for the product that they select, they got to just uh, pick up that product, and in order to buy that product they got to feed in their credit card details or the purchasing means that they could be paying them. They got to feed their address, they got to do all these 5 to 6 steps in order to place a purchase request there. Now Amazon came up with one single click patent where you select the product, and when you select buy, it simply is delivered to your address, because they save all your address and your payment details separately, securedly there, right? So this one click patent was a big click to Amazon. And when Flipkart came in, when it implemented to India, there was in India, Amazon did not patent the same technology here, right? Because India was too what do they call, it's so, technology was not so booming in India at that time. We never purchased online, for example. Not forget about purchasing online, the use of the cards also was not to this extent what we use it today. So because of all these reasons, they didn't think India to be a very good market for them. And this was the area where a known technology to a new market, which did not see, India didn't see that kind of a model. So Flipkart got that model and then implemented it in India. So ideas need not be new, it's only the other factors. Sometimes your market might not be ready, so it's only your strategy, how you devise your plan and bring that what I say, the idea into the market, right? So sometimes and as one of you said, team. Yes, team of course plays one of the major role. When I say all of this, in one of the universities, they did this sort of a study where they have analyzed, they have picked up few companies and they have come up with such a study as to what was the factor of success for most of these companies, Uber or Insta or Airbnb. The Airbnb is also one of those good business models that have come up, the LinkedIn, and the YouTube, of course. YouTube, when you talk about ideas, there had been a company which also used to stream online. And this company, when it first launched itself, it had a direct tie-up with the Hollywood as well. So for the release also, it was a big block hit. But what happened was the internet connectivity was not as good as in those times, and that's the reason why it failed. So they say that it is the timing also. And when they compared, I don't know if you are able to see, this slide is one of those I just wanted to show you. And this one, uh, this one, when they say timing was the most appropriate or the factors of success for 42% of the firms that were studied, and team and execution happens to be one of the other success factor. But funding happens to be the least bothered success factor, which actually most of the firms were dependent on. So they were dependent on the timing, the correct timing to launch and reach the people, the team that would execute their idea, and the idea as itself, how good it could, be in taming the people and getting to the people, and of course, the business model. Right. So it depends on several factors. Like one of the other things that I would like to show upon, which till now we were starting or discussing about the firms which are started as startups. But let me show you one of these spin-off. The difference between a startup and a spin-off is startup anybody can start, but if you are studying from a university or from an academic background, if you just come up and start your own venture, it is called as a spin-off. And this is a Geopno is a spin-off from IIT Kanpur, which was very innovative and which provided path-breaking solutions and services, especially in geospatial technology. And the GMR, it acquired this particular company, right? So there are successful stories which actually play an important role when it comes on. And let me show you this particular slide. Most of the research faculty or the academicians think that it is only that we spread or we pass on the knowledge to the generations. But let me talk about George Whitesides, who is a great professor, who's from Harvard University. And the market capitalization from the IP that actually he is dealing, or the royalties that usually pay him, he is considered as the highest cited scientist because he has a lot of IP with him, and the market capitalization of the companies floated from his university research is nearly $20 billion. So it's only one of the areas where we would see is, of course, IP that I come from, and I would just see how IP could be used in order to, come up with a good entrepreneurship and things like that. I would also like to bring upon this AICTE policy of 2019, whereby the rules, according this innovation policy had been very friendly, especially for the people who want to start their own enterprise. We all run to US in order to pursue higher studies, and most of the reason why people like to go there is it gives us the ease of switch and play and plug infrastructure. I would tell you in detail. See, if I want to work, I can work and also study, and this policy is very similar in those lanes that it had been framed. If you want to start a startup of your own, this policy gives you the break. As a student, you can take a break upon certain approvals from the committee. You can start your own venture, experiment it, and then return back and then continue your studies, right? So nobody will discard you as such from the college. So this is a very good policy, especially for people, for students and faculty who would want to start innovation on their own. And apart from this, this policy also tells that whenever you want to file something, especially in IP, even you would have what do I call, the share of the ownership. So these are few of those good things in these policies. So stay abreast in the technologies that you want to prosper. Stay abreast in the policies that come up where you would be having more hands-on. When we were studying, there were no such policies that came up. But now you have n number of policies, n number of ways where you could try, experiment, and pick up things and start on your own. So utilize the time properly. And I know I'm exceeding time, so just let me know if there are any questions. Any questions, just let me know, because I know I'm exceeding the time limit. And my co-speaker, Samantha Reddy. Hi, ma'am. Nice meeting you. So she is also here. So just let me know in case you have any doubts or any questions for me. Would be very happy to answer it. Katyayani ma'am, you're on mute.
Yeah, I welcome Samantha Reddy Garu, and I thank Himabindu Garu. Participants, if any questions to Himabindu Madam, just put it on chat box and she will be coming back after the talk of Samantha Reddy Garu. So on behalf of the University of Sri Padmavati Mahila Vishwavidyalaya, I welcome personally and also Samantha Reddy Garu for the talk today on this NPS occasion, so National Productivity and Council occasion. So, and I request Dr. Padmavati to introduce Samantha Reddy Garu to the audience. Dr. Padmavati. Yes.
Thank you, madam.
Yeah.
Thank you, madam. I am very happy to introduce Samantha Reddy, Samantha Reddy Garu. She is graduated from London Business School in 2011 with a Sloan Fellowship, Masters in Strategy and Leadership for Senior Executives. She has 23 years of professional and entrepreneurial experience in for profit and non-profit enterprises. So she also co-founded B2B Software Technologies, which is one of two successful products companies. She initiated and built ground-up enterprises business solutions and healthcare divisions. Created intellectual property and copyright for B2B launched B2B Life Sciences vertical and telecom vertical built on Microsoft Dynamics 2006 and 2009. Won several awards from Microsoft President Club Award, Best Regional Partner South. So she has experience as a team member in multicultural device teams in multi-country settings. She is presently President of Ravilila Granites Limited, handling HR and marketing in her prior role. She devised product strategy at Infosys, the of Indian and a multinational provider of technology solutions. Is an AIESEC Hyderabad alumni founding of batch in 1987 to 88. Samantha is the team lead volunteer of child care homes in Hyderabad, overseeing the establishment of home away from home for pediatric cancer patients. A board member of Young Presidents Organization Hyderabad. Samantha convenes an initiative Spirit of Giving in collaboration with Ashoka Foundation to raise awareness of social enterprises, which won the Best Regional Education Award and the Best Regional Community Award from Young President Organization, South Asia. So, in these few words, Samantha Reddy Garu, so to take over the section, madam.
Thank you, Andy. Can you tell me how much time I have? We are at 3:18, right? 3:20. So I can plan accordingly. Yes, ma'am. You can take whatever time that you want. You can spare. Okay, just a second. Okay, so I just wanted to start with a question. So I think they introduced me saying I went to school in 2011. So can you just take a guess on how old I should be right now? Can you just put it in the chat box and let me take the first three answers. So I think if you guys heard the introduction, it's LPS in 2011. So take a guess on if I went to school in 2011. How old should I be now? You want to just put it in the chat box? I don't see any answers, and this is the first time I'm doing an online session, so I really don't know how this works. But let me ask my co-speaker, Bindu madam, what is your 48? Okay. Aruna, you know me from past 15 years. How can you send me a message?
Yes, okay. I saw you as a CEO of B2B. So after that journey, only you started, you went for master's degree.
Exactly. So the point I'm really trying to get here is I don't get any joy by telling people my age, but I don't think there are rules, and I don't think there is any particular way that anybody's life actually pans out in their entrepreneurial journey. There are opportunities, there are obstacles, and lots of things along the way. So if I did go to school in 2011, you would typically think that I did it immediately after my undergrad, which wasn't the case. I went when I was 40, and yes, I'm 52 now. So I just wanted to just share my entrepreneurial journey, and I want to start with this one slide. I don't know if any of you all are following the Beijing Winter Olympics. So this Canadian athlete called Max Parra, actually, he is a cancer survivor. He was in bed 3 years ago, not even sure. He didn't have a single bit of muscle mass. And 3 years later, he wins an Olympic gold. So what does that tell you about, the grit and determination that each of us can really come up with when the opportunity presents itself? So I always feel that, necessity is the mother of invention. And similarly, if we decide and we really, put our mind on anything, we all can achieve it. Incidentally, I think they didn't mention in my update, but I'm a cancer survivor. It's been 27 years. I'm very blessed and fortunate to be talking to you today. So what I'm just going to do is I would rather take questions and make it more interactive, but just talk a little bit about my career. And since we're talking about entrepreneurship, and since B2B came up as a company that I co-founded, I would actually take you through the steps of B2B. So, now at age 52, it's very nice to say that, yes, I went to LBS, I did this and I did that. But did I plan all this when I was your age? No, not necessarily. Things happen, opportunities come, and everything in your life is by the choices you make. And this is the thought that I wanted to leave with you guys, because it's very hunky-dory or very nice to see, there's, when we watch people on podiums talking about, what they did and what they achieved, there's no straight way, or there's no straight, shall I say, path. It comes up from different opportunities, different challenges, learnings along the way. So like as Aruna knows me from CII and B2B Software Technologies, where I spent 11 years co-founding the company, I'm going to just go into a little more in depth with it. So I just put a little message under each of the things I've done, and I want you all to keep that message with you. It's not important what I did, but the rationale why I would like to leave that lesson with you. So the first thing is about B2B Software Technologies. So when so this company was co-founded in 1999. My co-founder is a medical doctor in the US, Dr. Nimani. And the millennium year, we were just having dinner, and he just said that I would like to invest in a company in India, and I'd like you to take care of it, because
I had, fought cancer and come out of it, and he was very happy with my grit and determination. And I had just then signed up for a Java and e-commerce course. I don't know whether you know, SSI was a big institute in those days. And I was very worried about losing the money for the course and not being able to complete it because it was quite a lot of money at that point in time. And he said, okay, you know what, we're going to do this company together, then, all your developers will teach you. Well, I never learned Java or J2E or anything, but I did found the company and it's still in existence today. It's listed entity on Bombay Stock Exchange and doing well in its own space. So the first lesson that I really wanted to just share is don't be afraid to leave your comfort zone. Look, I'm not an IT person. I'm a commerce graduate. And the first day that I sat on my table in B2B office with my first employee, who was my office boy, and my auditor or somebody walked in, they told me why I would fail, why this is a very bad idea, and why so many companies before me failed. So anything that you start in life, no matter what anyone tells you, if you are really kind of committed to it, don't be afraid to move out of your comfort zone and take the risk. I think that's the first message I'd like to leave with you. So after B2B for 11 years, I kind of reached a zone where I thought I was plateauing. I wasn't really learning and doing something new. So I applied to this program at LBS. It's called the Sloan Fellowship. It's for people who have minimum of 15 years of experience. So 3 schools run it across the world, MIT, Stanford, and LBS. And I chose to go to London, and that was an amazing decision for me. I loved my 1 year away. And I think it also put me on a path of lifelong learning because, being an alumni of a good business school, they reach out to you. They have career services. You can consult with them. You can take executive education with them. So it's a really good connect. You have an alumni committee, community that you can, talk to and engage with across the world. So I think that's one advantage and one thing that I like to leave. And lifelong learning doesn't have to be LBS or London. It could be even a good school in India or an online program. It could be anything that you could do to make sure that you keep learning because things are changing and there are so many things that are in a state of flux. And so the internet wave is kind of going away and the next is blockchain. So what do we know about it? So if you have to go back and look, like we had mainframe computing, then we had, of course, a client server, then we had the web, and now we have a completely new, shall I say, opportunity that, and India is also well equipped, India has a maximum number of developers, and that could help in blockchain as well. So, just keep learning, just yesterday I was doing an online session. I don't get much time because I'm working, of course. On 1 hour Zoom, of course, is a savior on really about blockchain and, the cryptocurrency and what's happening. So I think lifelong learning is one thing that I would like to leave with you guys. So after LBS, Career Services, Infosys actually hired me because of my experience with B2B technologies and the fact that I ran a product company. And I worked with them for 3 years. And when you're an entrepreneur, it's very different. And I think my co-speaker also tell me, because you do multifaceted things and you're your own boss and, it's very different dynamics. And when you go into a large corporate, you have to be single-minded and very stick to your place. And you don't have that much, what should I say? It's not like hierarchical where you can throw your weight and get things done. So it was very, very difficult for me because, and a lot of my friends warned me that, corporate is not for you, but I had to prove them wrong. So I just did it in hindsight, probably the worst decision I ever made. But I really wanted to work in corporate culture, understand how people really work. We had 3 reorganizations within a span of 3 years that I worked there. Narayan Murthy came back during that time. If you know the sequence that all the founders of Infosys actually took a chance to be our CEO, and the last was Mr. Shubulal. So we had Narayan Murthy, and then we got Mr. Vishal Sikka, who was our a non-founder CEO. So just to, if you're following, anytime following. So basically, yes, it was a change. I took a risk. But then I learned more things about myself and what I wanted in my life. Because sometimes the way of learning and being self-aware is really by maybe making mistakes, taking risks, and then learning about what you really like and what you're really good at. So coming back to, basically Quartzcraft and manufacturing, that was a time where I had to come back. We have a family business of building product materials where we do natural stone, which is Ravalila granites and quartz scraps. So this is what I'm doing right now for the past 4-5 years. We have two plants in Andhra. So I go there very frequently to Ongole. And yeah, it's a completely different ball game from my technology and what I did earlier, but it's got its own. So when you make products, you actually visually see products. Like IT is something that you just upload an FTP and your product is delivered. But so this is a very different thing. And you deal with a lot more blue collar workers, a lot of HR things. And yeah, it's a completely different dynamics. But so this is how my career spanned out. And if you had asked me, like even 20 years ago, saying, what would you like to do? And I don't know. I don't know about B2B. I don't know about quartz scrap. I mean, these are things and opportunities that came my way, and I just took my chances and took the opportunities. So just for B2B, since we all talk about business models, and I think Hemabin also talked about it, I kind of joined a little late in the call, but when we all start business, plan A never works. I mean, that's a given. It's always plan B. So just to give you the journey of B2B and so when we started the company B2B, the reason we called it B2B and is business to business. So we built the first Barter India portal called, it's a B2B portal for bartering, but that really never took off. So then we went into consulting, and that's when SARS hit us. Now that we know what COVID is, and coronaviruses, you should know that the last pandemic was SARS, except it didn't really come to India, but came a lot to Southeast Asia. And that's why those countries are much more prepared than we were for, facing pandemics. So our consulting business was going nowhere. We did that for a couple of years. And that's when we really started building, looking around for what we could do as our next phase of. So when marketing people used to go out in B2B, they came back telling us that companies are looking for something like an ERP, like an enterprise resource planning solution. And so we used to go annually to this fair called CeBIT. And CeBIT is in Hanover in Germany, and they have this display of different technologies and different halls. So that's when we identified this product called Navision. It was a Danish company that I really liked personally, and we thought it was a good fit. They were just coming into India. And, sometimes you make decisions in life and then, you connect the dots and things go well. I mean, it's great in hindsight, but the fact that Microsoft took over Navision after we started working with them gave us a really big boost. So we actually we did two things. We actually tied up with Microsoft Navision, what it's called 365, Dynamics 365 now. And we started building a lot of IP and products around it. And not only that, we started development of two products. One was a healthcare product, because our co-founder is a doctor, called Genius Doc, and another product. So a lot of people used to go try to sell our ERP, said, it's too expensive. We have licenses and everything. So we looked at open source and PHP and saw that, how we could actually build something. So that was PlumSoft. So we kind of, these two actually, PlumSoft and Genius Doc, actually, we kind of spun off into different companies. And just going forward, we did win a lot of awards. We're the best, partner for Microsoft in India on winning the Presence Awards. And so that is a story of like 10 or 11 years, actually. So if you ask me what the business model was when we started B2B and what we ended up with and really built our forte on, it's completely different. So, what I wanted to leave you with is, I know we all have new ventures in mind, and we think we have the most perfect business plan. And it's going to work beautifully, but don't get too attached to it, because things change and they change for the better. And you will actually get to kind of realign yourself to the market, realign your product, for the, really maybe the unmet need that we thought of the customer really wasn't there. Maybe there's something else, and that you learn only when you get into it. So that's really what I wanted to leave you all with on entrepreneurship. So yeah, there is no perfect business plan. The couple of things I put together really on self-awareness. I know we all want to be academically very good and, great marks, but I think really to have a well-rounded personality and be more self-aware, it's very important to cultivate passions, because, that really, ignites that extra fire in the belly and keeps you going. It could be anything. It could be for travel. It could be for cycling. It could be for photography. The second thing is really, trying to find a purpose greater than life. There's nothing more satisfying than doing something for someone else. Someone else is not as blessed or grateful as we are. I mean, not as blessed or more underprivileged. And the kind of happiness, and there's a lot of data that goes into say that, when you really give to someone and you get that, the happiness that you get in return for even doing that extra something unconditionally is really, it's incredible. And I can vouch for that because I've been involved with St. Jude's Childcare Center since it's been 8 years. So we actually have a home away from home for underprivileged children who come from rural areas who have pediatric cancer. So, cancer for children, a good part of it has very, very good prognosis. They can get well, very well, provided they finish their treatment and they come for their regular checkups and they, monitor themselves very well for the first 5 years. So when they come into large cities, they don't have a place to stay after they finish their, inpatient things. So that's where we have the unmet need that we take care of at St. Jude's. We have around 20 family units. And now we have a second part called St. Jude's for Life. So after the kid gets good, and after 5 years, we have kids who have gotten married, started careers, and doing other things. So I think finding a purpose greater than yourself is definitely very rewarding. Building your network. KCI is one example, but building a network is, of course, it's time. Anything in life, you have to make choices and give your time, but networks could be rewarding. It could be something that you are deeply passionate about. Like say you're in social services or whatever, to be part of some charity, or if you're in a science group or whatever, or any business network. It could be, ISEC is one thing that came up in my resume. So ISEC is an association of students that works with the corporate world. So, you could actually connect with networks, associations, not-for-profits that are doing things that are of interest to you, because it's a huge learning potential, and networking because we learn from other people as well. So that's something. And of course, health is, I think health is wealth. I think that I don't need to really talk about. So look, I had a chance to make my bucket list very early on because I had mortality. I wasn't sure, because of the sickness that I had, but I would urge everybody to really, really check, write down what you want to really achieve in your life. You can only take 1 or 2 out of 10, but that's okay. Even that is very satisfying. And as we all know, whatever you choose to do in life, if it's going to be more business oriented, I think technology is an underlying driver. So try to do things that have an underlying technology if you could. I have nothing against people who would like to be with home knitting or anything to do with cooking. That's also why with cooking also you can have technology. You can actually showcase your recipes. You can upload amazing pictures. So whatever you do, try to involve technology in it, because it is a world that's virtual, and to make your mark, it's always important to have technology. So the other thing that I wanted to share with you is that if you want to grow professionally, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. So, it's very easy to keep doing the things that we're good at repeatedly, but always trying new things and different things always makes us uncomfortable. So if you really want to grow as a person, I think that's a chance that we should be taking. And I know everybody talks about entrepreneurship and everything, but it's really not, everybody gets, like, for example, when we started B2B, you will not believe there couldn't be a worst year to start B2B, because 2000 was a dot-com bust. I think y'all are all not even born or children, I don't even know. So it was the worst. 2000 was a dot-com bust. Then you had the Enron issue. Then you had the Iraq war. I'm sorry, you had the SARS. And, we had one after the other. We had so many tragedies that would just, completely, from everywhere we were getting, cordoned off, and we're not really making any success. So, but the only thing is we never gave up, right? No matter how much we got knocked off, we kind of made our niche. We made it through, iteratively building our company. So I think it's so important, that we are prepared to get back on our feet and keep trying. I think that's invaluable. These are my kids at St. Jude's on the right. I wanted to share this picture, and this is them celebrating my birthday. So I wanted to just leave you with this one thought. Look, when we start, I would like to use the word careers, but we can even start with a job. So what is it between a job versus a career? A job is what essentially pays your bills, right? I mean, we all need, of course, economic help, and we want to stand on our own feet. But the career is what is your long-term goal in life, your aspiration, your sum total of all your relationships, your strengths. And not everybody knows, or even I wouldn't have known what I would like to do as a career early on, because taking different jobs is a stepping stone to how you really figure out what you really want to do in life, and that's how you build your career. So when you actually have a career in mind, you ignite your passion, and you do that much more, you stretch yourself that much more, because this is what you really want to do for yourself. So rather than just doing a job for a job's sake and earning sake, really try to find within your career, within your workspace, what that you want to say. For example, if you think HR is something that you're very passionate about, and you're very clear that that's the career you want to build, so really put everything that you can into it. Find out what are the different facets of HR, what are the new, developments in HR, what are the new practices. So put your 100% into it and build your career in HR, and you're bound to succeed. And don't treat it as like, a job, or, I'm not being prescriptive about it, but the more you treat something as a job, it kind of limits you on how much you want to stretch yourself. And to be really successful, it's so important to really treat things as a career. And here I wanted to actually get Aruna onto the call. So Aruna, I've known her for 15 years. She's from your college. Aruna, you can put on your video. And Aruna has been in CII. Was it 2007, 2005, Aruna?
5, something like that.
Yeah, so 5. So how many years is it? 2005 to 22. So
17.
She obviously, yeah, exactly. Who talks about being in a place for 17 years unless you're truly passionate about what you do, and unless you're keeping learning and you're developing and you're adding value to that organization. So you guys all should be proud that you have an alumni member such as Aruna, who's actually been there and done that. And she's a true role model for all of us, right? So that's really her career, I would say. And if you asked her what CII was when she graduated, Aruna, did you know what CII was when you graduated?
No, Samantha garu, I never heard also.
So yeah, so I guess
you
want to tell us a little bit how you stumbled onto CII and how you, like a few words on how you built your career there?
I just joined CII after my brief journey with an NGO which works with handloom weavers. So we were doing really well there, but I felt that, there is a need to learn more. Even though we were doing really good work, I used to work with Dastakar Anvites, an NGO which works with handloom weavers. So Usramma was my guide and mentor, and I used to call her Amma, and she used to really, I have learned a lot after MBA with her. Then I was looking for some change, and through a consultancy firm, I joined CII. Initially, we started working with MSME panel, then CSR, then education and skills. And we never directly worked with you, Samantha garu. We both were not connected through a panel or anything. But I always felt that, I had an aunt who was a cancer survivor, who passed away due to cancer. She was very close to me, and I went into deep depression, around that time, around 2005, 4, 5, 6. These were the years when I was in extremely deep depression because we lost her at the age of around 40, 42. So mentally, psychologically, I was connected with you. So I felt it was really amazing that somebody could fight with such a dreaded issue, and then could become, overcome such issues. And I was emotionally, I felt, you were my.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks, Aruna.
In fact, Katyayani madam also encouraged her son to be an entrepreneur, and she's personally very passionate about entrepreneurship. So whenever we used to discuss, earlier also we did many sessions, and we could take Rajanna garu of TCS to Tirupati, yes. And madam only chaired that session. It's really, madam personally is very passionate about this topic. Really good to see you.
Actually, I was also an entrepreneur, previous career, but I could not continue. I was in education field, like IT education. So when it is downfall, then I have joined in a university as a professor. So like I discontinued the business and then I have joined as a professor. But I will encourage my children or surrounding people who wants to start a business. I will encourage them, motivate them. So I will make them to, guide them to how to approach funding agencies, how to prepare a proposal. So because I'm teaching that to management and other engineering and other professional students at my university. So especially our university is a women's university, you know that. So women's preferring enterprise as a career, it will be in a late ages after getting married and having children settled. Then they will think of what is their passion and then they want to start. And some people will compel to start their businesses from the beginning because male member is not there in the family to earn. So like that, we have seen all compelling factors, push factors and pull factors for women. And then after hearing here the two eminent speakers, Himabindu and Samantha,
Okay,
we are
give
seeing
me 2
that,
minutes. I just finished this, ma'am. I think I just have one. Yeah, I just wanted to just finish this.
Okay.
Give me just 2 minutes. Thank you so much. But let me tell you one thing. I think we women also are great people for excuses also. Like, you know, we are scared of failure sometimes, and then we are just, I don't know, use the word too lazy to really confront it. And we, you know, use that excuse not to do things. So sometimes we are our own enemy. Actually, no one else is our enemy. And as a mother and as a, you know, as with grown-up children, you should realize that life is a full circle. Like your children are with you, of course, and it's important to give time, but that's no excuse not to have a career, because, you know, your kids are with you for what, 15, 16 years, 17 years. Nowadays, they go to college and they have their own life, or even earlier. So, I mean, just, you know, so I know it's a tough balance while you have growing up kids, but it's so important to have your identity and what you're doing, whatever it is, whatever it is. So just to close up my conversation, so, you know, being afraid of failure is something that we all have to deal with, but, you know, focusing on effort and relentlessly working, you know, the other thing is when we keep on working and with expectations, that's when it's the worst thing, really. You know, working unconditionally without expectations really gets the best, because you just don't know what the unexpected falls our way. So I think I'm pretty done with this. This is another one that I want to mention, because you talk about entrepreneurship. I have always people coming and asking me saying, are entrepreneurs born or are they made? So I don't know, I should ask you, ma'am, Katyan, ma'am, what do you think? I wrote something, but you don't have to look at it. But what do you think?
Yeah, entrepreneurs can be nurtured, need not be born.
Correct. So exactly, I feel that. So I mean, you have to be open-minded, and, you know, and ability to think out of the box, you know, understand, you know, abstract relations. And this is what, I mean, I took down from a study, but I'm zero skills to be an entrepreneur, and I became an entrepreneur just by chance, right? Stumble in an opportunity. And I'm sure it's the case. You ask any entrepreneur, nobody would have thought in their mind. Very few really think that I am going to be an entrepreneur and become an entrepreneur. It just happens by chance. And then you evolve yourself, you evolve your skills. But I think the important thing is that, you know, you have to have tenacity, that is written determination, perseverance to keep on trying what you're trying. You should have the passion and the thirst for knowledge, always looking what can I do ahead in my business, and forward looking. And I think it's also the company you keep, because the people who are, if you have people around you keep encouraging you and telling you to do more, they are more likely to do it than somebody who's pulling you down and telling you all the negative things. So I think this is the last slide, ma'am. I just wanted to leave that. No problem. Got it. Thank you. I'll just stop the screen share. And yeah, I think we can take questions.
Yes. Yes, participants, if any questions, you can directly unmute yourself and then ask or put it in the chat box. Anyone?
Samantha Garu, I'm going to ask you one question.
Sure.
Which journey gave you more satisfaction? Is it as an employee, what were your learnings? And, you know, as an entrepreneur, how was that journey? I mean, you have elaborated in detail, But being an entrepreneur for almost 15 years, and then you joined a big corporate company. So there might have been a cultural shock for you, the way a big corporate is functioning and the way your own organization used to function. So how did you make yourself comfortable in this new journey?
So basically, I think the first thing that every new experience is a learning experience. The good thing about Infosys is, because of the founders themselves, like even if you are at any level, even if you're at a vice president level or a very senior level, you have to walk down the hall and pick up your printouts. You have to go make your own coffee. You're not, no mollycoddled anywhere. So, I think that really stems down from Narayan Murthy and his, values for what, he expects people to do. And I think from a work perspective, one thing I learned is, which is very different when you're in an organization and a smaller group of people, you walk into their room and talk, but here everything, you're on calls all the time. So your calendar is entirely blocked with, I don't know, meetings from morning to night and late in the night. And sometimes you wonder whether you could be more effective, because large organizations have to ideally work that way, right? There is no other, and they're also widespread in different locations and different countries. So I think it's a large organization working with a small organization. Small organizations, more initiatives can be taken up. You can do more exploration very quickly and, initiate things and do it. Of course, large organization, it requires more clearances, more, corporate approval. You have to really conform to the already existing framework, to your role. So I think there's good and bad in everything. There is nothing that is, I think a personality type, as my personality type lent more to an entrepreneurial kind of thing, because I'm used to doing multiple things and, multitasking all the time. And I'm always looking to try new things rather than being in a corporate thing. So I think there's no good or bad. It's just what as a personality that you like and what's amenable to you. So I hope you answered your question. So
yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, any more questions?
I think it's very difficult to do it on a Zoom, right? I've never done a Zoom thing. This is the first time I've done a Zoom call, because it's eye contact is so important. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Zoom, if we are having an official account, it is easy, madam, to handle. So otherwise, Google Meet also, we are going to use it. So
no, what I mean to say is, it's always proven that when you get into an eye contact with a person, it's much easier for them to come forth and ask a question. Because right now they just see it as a screen. It could be a TV screen or any screen, right? So to get them to ask more and to interact more, that's what I meant.
I request everyone, those who are online, please kindly turn on your videos once, please. Just for a moment, please turn on your videos. Students, you also please open your videos.
Madam, another small thing is, a point is we have Indian Women Network where Miss Himabindu is very active. I request our community also to become active in that space, because many women achievers are part of that forum. And we do a lot of programs under learning and development and career growth and in many other interventions.
We'll network with Himabindu and IWN.
Yeah, that would be good.
So anyway, on behalf of Sri Padmavati Mahila Vishwavidyalayam and Department of Business Management and Women Studies, we thank both the speakers and Himabindu Garu and Samantha Reddy Garu for enlightening our scholars, students, faculty who joined here in this today's session. It's more than 100 participants are there from our university. And even YouTube link also has been provided to the students. And there will be a lot of questions madam. I will collect the questions and then I will send through mail so you can answer. And we want to continue the network with you both and also IWN network to encourage women students and girl students and community people. SHG women, we are connected. So to develop them economically, and also we want to develop startups in our university. And you people both have given success factors of your entrepreneurial journey, and also challenges, how to overcome the challenges. It might be even Samantha Reddy are inspired by your determination, so, and willpower that you are having, even though you are having some health issues, or you have been determined that yes, I want to achieve something. So that determination will inspire youngsters here, and then they will also think of it starting a career in a later age also, after marriage also they can start off, or they can think of once they finish their PG course or PhD courses. So,
ma'am, if you
yes, madam. Yes,
ma'am, if you'll allow me, I just have one question to Samantha Reddy.
Yeah,
yes,
Samantha Reddy, one small question, and is really inspired by the way actually you have taken the session and the hurdles that you have gone through. One area where even though I have formed 3 successful companies which are currently running, but I still hold on to one basic question, because what are all the courses that I wanted to do, I just so opt them or so design them that I can manage my office, my business, my family as well. But when you say you have gone and did a part of your life, you have spent elsewhere doing a course, so how did you manage both of that? Like, what are the emotional attachments you had? What were the work professional commitments that you had, and how did you manage both of them?
Okay, so I think I had the advantage of getting married very young. I was engaged at 18, married at 19. So my daughter was born very young. So I waited for her to go to college, actually. That's when I went back to college, because I didn't finish my 3rd year. I finished my correspondence because my husband was in the US. So that timeline wise, I didn't have family commitment because I waited for her to go to college, for me to go to college. That's one. And I had already finished 11 years in my startup by then. And I really wasn't really excited, or I was not feeling like, I was being pushed to my next challenge. It was kind of plateaued a little bit. And that's when I thought 10, 11 years in one company, I need to do something different. And the way to make a lateral progression is, especially between, so essentially they tell you that in college too, right? When you make a break, when you do these mid-career programs, it's essentially, say you want to move from corporate to being an entrepreneur, or you want to change verticals, or there are 2-3 different reasons. Geographically, you want to move. So when people make that break, so they actually find, because you have career services and you're exposed to so many different avenues, once you take that break in your career, so you can actually charter a new kind of journey for yourself. And that's why a lot of these executive MBAs and late MBAs do that, actually, rather. So I hope I answered your question.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So it has, fortunately, this platform has become a very good discussions, raised good discussions. What are the challenges that we are facing in our life, and how to balance our life? So we can learn from your live experiences. So girls, it is going to be an inspirational talks, and also live experiences, which will helpful for you to decide about your career. And then we are having a good opportunities right now. Government is giving good funding and all that. Policies are framing very friendly to the women, especially girls who wants to start their own businesses. So use these opportunities, and then we wish all of you to become a good entrepreneurs, at least entrepreneurs in your life. Don't stop learning. So as the Samantha Reddy madam is telling, lifelong learning is also required for us. It will be there among the women, especially wherever they are going to learn and they want to do it, any work quality wise, they won't compromise it. So they might be affectionate in nature. So, but we would like to see you as achievement oriented. So with this, I will conclude this session, and I once again thank Samantha Reddy Garu and Eva Bindu Garu, and especially Aruna and Josna and all, Sandhya madam and Neeraja and Padmavati, so for making this particular session, and the participants, especially the students, research scholars and faculty who had participated in this session to make this webinar success. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, madam.
Maybe I'll take
Making us also to join
talk
part of
about
this
patents.
successful webinar.
Yes,
Hearty congratulations to you and your team.
Yes, madam.
And also best
Of
wishes
course,
to the resource persons. We had a very informative sessions.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Madam, yeah, we'll keep in touch, all of you, both the resource persons, and then we would like to have a network, and then one club also we would like to start, and then we will see our students will get benefited from that. Not only our students, women community will get benefited from this. So
yes, ma'am.
Thank
As
you.
Aruna Garu mentioned, ma'am, IWN is really doing good at this front.
Yes,
because we have many people sharing their, there had been many verticals where I've been supporting. Be it leadership, be it, entrepreneurship or startups. So we have different verticals supported, and deliberately they give lectures, or there are many supporting lessons that one could learn from there. And especially where I have taken my, slice of cake is, it's a basic good platform for networking, because as women, we basically are so saturated by our to-do works, or the way we deal with our day-to-day lives and all. So we sit at home and think that, or sit at office and think that this is much more what I can have in my plate. But IWN really, it actually opened ways for me in networking and knowing more and more people, like how they have come and how their challenges are thrown upon them, and what have they how do they spun their own areas where they could come out of these challenges and things like that. So it's been a good platform for me. Just try that, just try it. That's what I can actually say.
Okay, thank you.
You're on mute, madam. Professor
Katyani
Katyayani
madam.
garu.
You're on mute. Katyani madam. Katyani madam, please unmute your mic.
Yeah, surely we are going to have a network with IWN, and then I think Aruna and all our alumni members also will be active part in that. So to help our university to develop a woman entrepreneur development cell here in our university. And once again, I thank everyone here, and then I will conclude with a great an opportunity that was given to us, so to our students. And I thank once again, and then I will stop the webinar right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Katyani madam,
Yeah.
for bringing such a wonderful speakers. It's a great opportunity for us to meet them. It's all because of you. Thank you, Katyani madam.
Thank you.
Thank you.